The iPhone 15 Pro Max got the treatment, now it's the Pixel 8 Pro's turn. Today, I'm going to tell you 8 reasons why the S23 Ultra is still the better phone, despite releasing all the way back in February of this year. Let's go. Okay everyone, welcome back to Tech with Benefits. Daniel here. I wanted to make this video just because, again, I like the S23 Ultra, I really do. So I'm here to remind everybody the things that this phone has that makes it a better phone than the Pixel 8 Pro. You're going to like what you like. I'm okay with that, but I'm going to like what I like. And what I like is this. Here are 8 reasons why I think this is better. Number 1, the performance of the phone. What I mean by performance is its overall performance package. In here is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy. We know it's a proven commodity when it comes to a chipset inside a phone. It's inside the S23 series, it's inside the Fold and Flip series, and it's inside the Tab S9 Plus and Ultra. We know the efficiency that it's brought to the Samsung devices, and we know the power that it has, alongside the graphical capabilities alongside that too. So from a performance perspective, you have this processor, you have the 5000 mAh battery, which I know is 50 mAh smaller than the Pixel 8 Pro, but when you factor in the efficiency of what the processor brings, it could lend to be a better battery performance. The Pixel 8 Pro with its Tensor G3 is going to be a good processor, no doubt, but we know what last year's one had problems with, so let's just hope that they've brought some better performance upgrades when it comes to that. But you know what you're getting with this. Plus, of course, you have the 45-watt fast charging that you can buy separately. Pretty good package when it comes to performance. Number 2, Samsung DeX. Samsung DeX just transforms your phone into your computer. Now, by now, I think we know what Samsung DeX is, but just the fact that you have that power sitting in your pocket should be a reason to make this your next phone purchase, or consider it instead of the Pixel 8 Pro. Because the Pixel 8 Pro, as powerful as it's going to be, and as great as a phone as it is, you're limited to it being in your pocket. With the S23 Ultra, you can expand your productivity out from the phone itself onto a bigger canvas. Whether that be your PC, whether that be a monitor, or your TV. You've got those options with Samsung DeX. Number 3, the S Pen. The S Pen is honestly the thing that sets this apart from the entire smartphone industry. I said this in my iPhone 15 Pro Max video and why I think this is better. It's just because the options you have from this S Pen are unlimited. Well, that's not true. There's obviously limits. But what I mean by that is you've got productivity through Samsung Notes, for example. You have creativity through Samsung Pen Up, but you also have the fact that it works as a remote shutter or even as a remote in general for your phone. I've used this, and I've used the S Pen as a remote clicker for presentations that I give. It's that powerful, and that with DeX from number 2 is a really, really great situation to be in when you have the S23 Ultra. Number 4, and you might laugh at me, but it's One UI. One UI is packed full of features from the get-go. A lot of what is already good about Google's Android operating system and what becomes native Android features begins its life here on One UI. Things like multi-window, One UI. Things like object eraser, One UI. All those things start their life here, and then Google adopts them and expands them out. Perfect example is the foldables. Samsung pioneered the foldable software and collaborated with Google to bring that stuff to market. I've got to say, One UI as a solution, things like the multitasking edge panels, love edge panels. The fact you can download extra stuff like Good Lock to bring into the mix as well. One UI just has a whole bunch of things in here that add to the phone experience. And I gotta say, whilst Google just announced 7 years of product support or software support for the Pixel 8 series, a lot of the stuff they'll get by year 7 might already be on One UI before that. Number 5, and this is probably a massive one for me, is ecosystem. Google are really now starting to bring out the Pixel tablet, they've got the Pixel Watch, the Pixel Buds, so they're creating this little tiny mobile ecosystem. But there's a couple of things, it's not widespread, it's not quite as polished and cohesive as what you have with the Samsung. Samsung's got laptops, yes I know they're not available globally. You've got the tablet series, you've got the watches, you've got the buds, you've got the fact that it's got home appliances like air conditioners, TVs, a lot of stuff's involved in it. Yes, I know that partners can link up to Samsung's ecosystem, but native is best. And just as I say that, I realize I'm about to say something that contradicts that exact point. But Google has a whole home ecosystem as well. The speakers, the doorbells. But again, they all work on Samsung's phone. So you kind of get the best of both ecosystems here. You get Samsung's ecosystem of hardware, their tablets, their watches, their buds, the auto switching that all happens between all of those. And then you've got the fact you can tap into Google's ecosystem, Google Home, Google's doorbells, Google's cameras. This kind of acts as the center for both worlds because it runs both Samsung software and Google. Number 6, and I know that again, this is going to look silly, but it's camera options. The Google Pixel 8 Pro looks like it's going to have an exceptional set of cameras this year. And I do appreciate that Google brings some camera software and AI stuff to increase their camera output. But sometimes you just need the hardware to back that up too. And I think Samsung's got the right hardware mix here with the ultra-wide camera, with the 200 megapixel main camera, and the 2 telephotos. The 3 and the 10 times perform exceptionally well. But what I really like is Samsung's software offerings with the camera. Things like single take. And I know Google just announced something called best take, which will put the best face onto the photo for you and take multiple frames. Single take isn't that. Single take will just capture a whole bunch of photos and videos and store them in an album. I love single take. I love that it's Samsung's best feature that they make for their camera. But you've got 8K video recording, and you might not think that's useful, but I challenge you to change your mindset around 8K, particularly after you've taken a video and you can capture a 33 megapixel still from it. You get that. But it's also features like Expert RAW, which expand the native camera options and give you extra solutions that have a different point of view, give you more tinkering, but also you get different types of algorithms to take different types of photos. Number 7, now this is probably not going to be everyone's flavor, but it's the design. Samsung at this point are so polished in their hardware offerings that they have got attention to detail right the way through their phone. Because they've been doing it for so long, and they know through usage what customers like, what they don't like. What I really started to appreciate this year is Samsung went more into refinement instead of overhauling. The S23 Ultra still did get some design changes though. Like it's got the flatter side rails, you've got the slightly flatter front display, which gives more area for the S Pen to sort of glide its way through. So the design point of view, whilst it's a big phone, it feels comfortable to hold in some areas. I like the boxier design too. I think the industrial look really lends itself to professionalism, and it's a clean, minimalist looking sort of back panel, and the camera layout, I really like that too. One other thing about design too is the display. Now, I know Google just announced this super bright 2400 nits max peak brightness display, but they still have an optical fingerprint scanner. I just can't get around optical fingerprint scanners. Ultrasonic will always be my preferred option, and that's what you have here on the S23 Ultra. And the last one might be a bit of a contentious one because some people like to call it bloatware, but it's the apps that come loaded on Samsung's phones. Samsung made apps transform the experience on your Samsung phone. I know there's a stigma that people like to call it bloatware. I couldn't disagree more. Things like Samsung Health, which I think is one of the best health platforms you can get on your phone. And especially considering that it's a free app, you don't need to pay for a subscription to it, and you get free workout programs, you can track your calories. All of that is available on your phone without needing to subscribe to anything. But it's other things like Samsung Pass or Samsung Wallet solution. Like there's a lot of things on here that Samsung's first party native solutions that I think you'd be at a loss if they were to remove them and replace it with Google's services. So that's where I think you'd be better off with a Samsung or with the S23 Ultra because you get those services on your phone. There's a whole lot more. I have done an app, top 5 Samsung apps. Go check that out. But yeah, Samsung apps, number 8. So look, you might not agree with me. In fact, I'm encouraging you to disagree with me in the comments below. I don't mind that. Because to be honest, the Pixel 8 Pro is like a cousin of the S23 Ultra. We're all in this kind of battleground to take share away from Apple. I'd be okay with really anyone doing it, but obviously I'd prefer that this one does it. So, drop a line in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you like all things Samsung. I cover lots of different topics, hardware, software, you name it. So give me a subscribe. And between now and my next video, make sure you come find me on Twitter/X and also on Instagram. And I'll see you then. Yo!